Welcome to the Star Podcast.
Whoa. Star Podcast.
Welcome to the Star Podcast, hosted by Nat. Each week, we share tips and stories from safety, trucking, and recruitment, and everything in between. Listen now.
Today on the podcast, we're joined by someone who plays a major role in helping people start and level up their careers in transportation. I'd like to welcome Adam from Northern Academy, and Adam has joined us previously on several episodes. His most recent episode 91 published in September talking about motorcycles and motorcycle safety. So if you've ever wondered what the difference is between a DZ and an AZ license, if you're not quite sure what air brakes actually means for your career, or if you're trying to figure out what license is the right fit for your goals, this conversation is for you. Adam works directly with individuals and organizations who are entering the transportation industry for the first time, as well as experienced workers who are ready to upgrade their credentials. So we're talking all about the different classes of licenses, whether you are looking at local driving opportunities, long-haul careers, construction, forestry. Understanding the license structure is the first step, and I, for one, find it a bit confusing. So I was so happy to have Adam come on the show. So if you're considering maybe a career change, upgrading your license, or you just want clarity on what each class means, you're going to get real value from this conversation. So welcome, Adam, to the podcast, and listen now.
Excited to welcome Adam back to the podcast. And I think it'll be a really great episode. We're going to walk you through all the different classes of licensing, which I find a little bit confusing, but I think it'll be great hearing it from an expert, and you can walk through the different classes and a little bit about each different license. So welcome.
Hey, how are you today?
Good.
So we want to talk about different classes of licenses, and sometimes this can be a bit of an area of confusion. A lot of people, they'll purchase a certain type of vehicle, or they're working for a certain company. Maybe they're building their own company, and they want to make sure that the types of vehicles they have the required license to legally operate. The easiest way to look at different classes of licenses is we have two different sectors. One sector would be the industrial, call it the freight carrying, industrial construction sort of sector. And then we have a passenger carrying sector of commercial vehicles, which is going to include our coach buses, city transit buses, school buses, and whatnot. So we have two different sections. Now, the industrial sector, everything is going to be based on weight, and the passenger carrying section is going to be based on the purpose of the vehicle that you're driving, whether it be a coach bus or like a school bus, and how many passengers you are legally allowed to carry. So let's start with the weight, side of it. So everybody, the first type of license they come into is going to be your graduated licensing style as your G1, G2, and finally your G. Now, G1 has some restrictions, and then G2, a few of those restrictions fall off, and then finally you get your full G. So what the G allows you to operate is any vehicle with a gross vehicle weight rating or a registered weight rating of under 11,000 kilograms. That's both the vehicle and combination of. So you can drive a pickup truck and haul a little trailer or whatever, as long as the weight of the truck and the trailer, or the truck alone, all combined, is less than 11,000 kilograms. That's the easiest way to look at it. And the trailer cannot weigh more than 4,600 kilograms. The easiest way to look at it is anything up to 11,000 kilograms or combination of vehicles up to 11,000, you can get away with your Class G. So let's say 10,999. So now we move up from G to, the next one would be D, because everything else is passenger carrying. When you get into the D class license, that is anything from 11,000 kilograms higher, or combination of vehicles that weighs in excess of 11,000 kilograms. So again, that's truck and trailer. So most people would attribute or match this up with straight truck class licenses, your box trucks and your dump trucks, cement trucks, garbage trucks, and whatnot would all require a Class D license. Or it could be a combination of vehicles where the truck is towing a trailer, but the weight of the two of them exceed 11,000 kilograms, but the trailer itself cannot, again, exceed 4,600 kilograms. That you can get away with a Class D. So again, to try and put this in layman's terms, Class D is anything over 11,000 kilograms or combination over 11,000 kilograms, but the trailer cannot exceed 4,600 kilograms. After that, we get into the Class A. Now, this is where things get a little bit dicey because there are some different versions of a Class A. Some people may have heard the term, your full Class A, then you have AR, which there's two different types of restrictions. So let's go with the full Class A. Full Class A means the truck is towing a trailer that weighs in excess of 4,600 kilograms, and the truck and trailer would both be air brake equipped. Then you would require a full Class A with the Z endorsement. So our basic AZ that we all kind of hear of is full-size tractor trailer. Trailer weighs more than 4,600 kilograms. Truck is air brake equipped and trailer is air brake equipped. The AR license is when the trailer is not air brake equipped and is equipped with electric brake. So you can have a Class AR license, which is a truck in the world of like an F450 or an F550, a one-ton dually, or a heavy-duty pickup truck, your Dodge, your Sierras and whatnot, that are capable of hauling more than 4,600 kilograms, but the truck is hydraulic brake and the trailer is electric brake. So now, because we're towing more than 4,600 kilograms, we need a Class A license, but we're not at the full-size tractor trailer 18-wheeler kind of level. So think of it like it's a Class A license, but on a bit of a smaller level. Pickup truck towing more than 4,600 kilograms. Now, as soon as the truck is air brake equipped, now you need what's called an ARZ. Okay, so you have an ARZ, which would be common in something like a pole trailer, a hydro truck that is pulling a pole trailer. A hydro pole line truck would normally require a Class D by itself, and it's air brake equipped. However, it's connected to an electric brake pole trailer. So you could drive that with an ARZ. You need the A to pull more than 4,600 kilograms, but the trailer's electric brake, so you don't need the full Class A. But the truck is air brake equipped, so you do need a Z endorsement. So that's where you would need an ARZ. That's why I said in the Class A world, things get a little bit dicey. So if I were to try and break that down, make it as simple as possible, AZ, air brake equipped truck and trailer towing more than 4,600 kilograms. ARZ, you could use that for a truck that is air brake equipped, towing a trailer that is capable of hauling more than 4,600 kilograms, but is electric brake equipped. If it's just a basic AR license with no Z endorsement, that would be a truck, like a heavy-duty pickup, 2,500, 3,500 series pickup truck, towing more than 4,600 kilograms. Neither unit is air brake equipped, okay? So truck is hydraulic, trailer would be electric. Now, we get into another restricted Class A license, and this one's really easy to follow. I think it was July 1st of 2022 that, maybe 23, I can't remember, but the ministry implemented a restriction based on the road test being performed in a manual transmission versus an automatic transmission. So a student that would obtain their Class AZ license and they used an automatic transmission tractor to do the road test would be granted a Class AZ license, but it would have a restriction on it that only allows them to operate an automatic truck. If you do the road test with a manual truck that has a minimum of 8 forward gears, then you would get the full AZ with no restrictions. You can drive anything out there. Okay, so that would be your full AZ with no automatic versus manual restriction. All right, now let's get into the passenger carrying stuff. We'll work from the bottom our way up again. So on the smallest scale, we have the Class F. Class F license would not be allowed to, you can't drive a school bus. So it's a passenger carrying vehicle with a designed seating capacity for between 10 and up to 24 people, but not used for school. So examples of this would be like, some larger limousines, so smaller coach buses or passenger carrying vehicles, 10 to 24 people, not used for school. Class E is the exact same thing as Class F, but a school purposes bus. So if you want to drive a small school bus, you would need a Class E license as long as it does not have a seating capacity of greater than 24 people. Now we jump into Class C. Class C is pretty much the same thing as F. It just allows you to haul more people. So it's a coach-style bus, such as an Ontario Northland or Greyhound or some sort of touring bus or whatever, that can haul more than 24 people, but not used for school. Then we get into Class B, and B is the exact same thing as Class C, except it's used for school purposes bus, over 24 passengers. Both Class B and Class E, because they are school purposes buses, individuals seeking a Class B or E license would have to take, or to operate in the school bus capacity, would have to take a school bus driver improvement course to obtain that license as well, or to operate or be registered as a school bus driver. And that's pretty much it. Then you got M for motorcycle. That's all. So basically, if one's seeking commercial licenses and they were to obtain something like a ABMZ, if you have an ABMZ license, you are legally allowed to operate absolutely everything on the road. There is not a vehicle out there that you would not be allowed to legally operate. ABMZ.
And that's what I'm assuming you have, right? Because you...
Yes, I do have that. Yeah.
Okay.
I obtained my Class A license here at the school, and I obtained my Class B license when I drove for the local city buses for Sudbury Transit. Yeah, and then I have my motorcycle license and obviously the Z endorsement. That's everything.
So that was awesome. It was very good. It just gets confusing with the AZ and you have restrictions or you can get. So yeah, that was really good how you explained it. Thank you. So let's just do a recap.
Yeah, so let's just recap the classes of license based on weight or passengers from A, working our way down to G. Class A, the tow more than 4,600 kilograms. Class AZ is tractor trailer towing more than 4,600 kilograms. Both truck and trailer are air brake equipped. Class AR is truck towing more than 4,600 kilograms, but the trailer is electric brake, not air brake. Class ARZ is where the truck can be air brake equipped, but the trailer is still over 4,600 kilograms, but still electric brake. Class A with the restricted for manual versus automatic just means that automatic road test, you're going to have a restricted license. Manual road test, you will have an unrestricted license when you obtain the Class A. Class B, school purposes bus with a design seating capacity of greater than 24 people. Class C is any coach bus with a design seating capacity of more than 24 people, not used for school. Class D is any single vehicle or combination of vehicles in excess of 11,000 kilograms, provided the trailer does not weigh more than 4,600 kilograms or you're hauling more than 4,600 kilograms. DZ is the same thing with the truck being air brake equipped. That would leave us now with Class E is a school purpose bus with a design seating capacity of 10 to 24 people used for school or school purpose. Class F is the same thing, but 10 to 24 people not used for school purpose. So that would be, like I said, little coach buses or something smaller. Then Class G is any single vehicle or combination of vehicle weighing up to 11,000 kilograms, but not over, and the trailer does not weigh more than 4,600 kilograms. Then you can drive it with a Class G. That's everything.
And then Class M with the motorcycle.
And Class M with the motorcycle, yeah. And it's really, like, simply put, the Z endorsement, you have to have that if any vehicles as listed above are air brake equipped. As long as if they have air brakes, you have to have a Z endorsement. The only exception to air brake components on a vehicle where you do not need a Z endorsement is if the vehicle is equipped with an air parking brake. But if you need air or air is required in any way, shape, or form to apply regular service brakes, like your basic stop sign to stop sign, light to light, in traffic braking, if air is needed in any way, shape, or form, you have to have a Z endorsement. But if it's equipped with a hydraulic brake system, but it has an air parking brake, then you don't need the Z endorsement.
If someone is not sure of what license they want, they maybe want to drive a truck, they don't know exactly, what would you say they should get? AZ is kind of the all...
That all depends on the type of work they want to perform and who's sending them in for their license. It would really depend on what the company is wanting this driver to do, how they want to, or what type of equipment the driver is going to be operating that would determine exactly what class of license that they need. This confusion comes more in the AR world of things. Like when you look at a full-size 18-wheeler, it's kind of obvious what you need. In order for me to drive that big truck and trailer, I need an AZ license. So that's the one where most people don't really have, there's not much confusion in there because it is a large vehicle in your face. This is what you need. It's obvious what you need to drive. It's when you start getting into the heavier class pickup trucks, like those F-350s, F-450s, that have the framework and the towing and the engine, all the capacity to pull a trailer that weighs in excess of 4,600 kilograms, that things become a little bit gray, right? So that's where most people would probably be confused as to what type of license do I need to operate this type of vehicle. And a lot of it also comes down to the towing capability or the towing aspect of the license, right? So if somebody was seeking a specific license for the type of equipment that they're driving, they would have to do their research online. I've had a few phone calls here at the school, people asking, what exactly do I need? Yes, where it also gets confusing is there's the plate on the inside, or the sticker on the inside of the door frame, that tells you what the manufacturer's weight rating is of the vehicle, but there's also the weight rating that it's been registered for on the ownership, and that's what any enforcement officer is going to go off of. You went and registered this vehicle at Service Ontario to haul or work with this kind of weight within its capacity. So now you need this class of license because that's what your ownership is registered at. Take the vehicle at face value for what it is when it comes off the assembly line. You don't need a Class D license or an AR, for example, for the trailer. But as soon as you bring those things to Service Ontario and register it based on a certain weight, now you need the license to cover whatever you register it for, right?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. It's a lot.
It's a lot. So basically, if anyone has any questions, call or email Northern Academy. They can speak with you. They can speak with Shannon. They can get all the information of what they need based on maybe what the employer is asking for, or they can talk you through what they're looking to do, and then you can advise them the best program.
Right. And if they are going to call or email, tell them to send a picture as well. They take a picture of their unit, because then it gives us a better visual of what it is that they've got, and they should know what is on the ownership of that vehicle, because that's also going to make a big difference. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that was a really good recap. I think it probably clarified a little bit for people, but if they have any questions, they can reach out to you. Excellent. That's great. Cool. Thank you.
Whoa. Star Podcast.